and on Crunchyroll and Funimation it's just put out there as Erased. And I had very low expectations for this series. I don't know why, but because of the description, sometimes, you know, the anime, sometimes the description seems really, really good, and sometimes they don't really stand out. And this one was one of the descriptions where it was like, okay, it's good, but maybe it's gonna be like one of those animes where like the trailer looks good and the description sounds really great, but it's not all that great, because there's been times where that has happened. So yeah, I was like really expecting not a lot from this series. So when I first watched the first episode, like I was just, my mind was blown away because of how amazing this series is. It went beyond my expectations, and the series is just so good. I highly recommend it, like right now, for you guys to go and watch it. If you guys haven't watched it, go and watch it. You're like missing out on this really, really good series. I absolutely love this series. I feel like this series is gonna be one of my favorites from the winter season. I honestly feel like this is gonna be one of the best series for this season of winter 2016. There's nothing bad I can say about this series. Everything is just so brilliant about this series. You're just, the first episode, you just get so hooked on this series and you just get so entertained. Like, there is nothing that you cannot dislike about this series. The series is just so good. Another thing that I almost forgot to mention is the opening song for Boku Dake. Oh my gosh, this opening has been on repeat lately, and I just love the opening. It's just so cool, and the opening doesn't really give too many spoilers for the series, and I love that. So this series is just basically about a guy who can do revivals, which in other words, he can go back in time and prevent an accident from happening. And in the first episode, he accidentally gets involved in a murder, and he did not commit that crime, so he tries to go back in time to, you know, prevent this murder from happening and from him preventing him to be framed as well. And he ends up back in time 18 years ago. And it's crazy because he has never done that before. He's only been able to go at least 5 minutes back in time, and that's it. So the fact that he was able to go 18 years back is pretty big. When he finds out that he's like, oh my god, I'm back in 18 years ago, like he's like at his elementary school, and he's just kind of like shocked about the whole thing, and he doesn't know what to do or where to start off, because he's like, okay, I don't know what's wrong. What do I do? How do I prevent this murder from happening? Again, like I said, the series is just really good, and it keeps you entertained throughout the whole episode. The second episode was just so good as well. And like I said, I just don't have anything negative to say about this series overall. Like, each episode, once it ends, you're like, oh my god, it's already over? Like, I want the next episode. I want it already. I'm like dying already to see the third episode. And that's how, you know, a series is that good. When you want more that instant and you're like, ah, oh, is it really over? It just feels like, it doesn't even feel like it's like 20 something minutes. So that's how you know the series is doing a good job. I'm like really curious of how they're gonna end this series, because it's just so good. I'm gonna have to go read the manga because it's just that good. Whenever a series is really good and I want to know what happens next, I always go and read the manga. I just can't wait for the next episode, to the point where I am reading the manga now. Currently I am reading it, and it's just so good, and it's just, oh my god, it's just, I love it. Love the series so much. So this series, the way that it starts off kind of slow, and you get introduced into everything that's going on. We get introduced and get to know a little bit more about this main character, and just how everything just slowly leads to that point where he gets framed. It's just so amazing how everything's just kind of laid out. It's just, it's so good. in the second episode of how he's trying to figure out what was the cause of this murder. He's like trying to piece all the puzzles together. Apparently, the murder that he was framed for is also connected to a murder that was back in the past when he was in elementary school. One of his classmates got abducted and murdered, and so somehow that's connected to the murder case that he's connected to. So again, he's trying to piece the puzzles together, and it's just so good because he's trying his hardest to save this classmate from getting murdered again, or pretty much prevent this murder from happening. I think that's everything I really have to say about this series, so I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Episode for a few reasons, and it was mainly because I didn't get that emotional feeling in this episode as I did in the manga. It didn't really hit home like it really did in the manga.